what I imagine it is a CT-sided map after all. A lot of teams that choose the CT side, and they really do need a strong start here on Enclave. Also, I fear that they may end up falling apart for this one, so let's see if they will do it. It's pistol round ready to go live between Enclave and Stifmeister here on Mirage. A must-win situation for the boys on the Enclave side as they buy into the first one here. We're seeing the Kevlars come out. We've already got Trials investing in the CZ and the HE. Same thing for Shiki right here. So this is going to be an interesting side for the CT side. And meanwhile for Stifmeister, we've got the smoke flashbang for Astro. They're going to be heading immediately into what looks to be a default here. Could potentially go down towards mid, smoke off the sniper nest, or go for a B sort of a half execution, but they're squitting towards this mid control, trying to see if they can flush the CTs out of sniper nest. It won't be the first frag going into the favourite anyway just yet, but Shaney does catch off Catme, taking him down. Bouncy gonna get a quick trade, but Shaney's still fragging. 2k for him, 4 versus 3 situation to Enclave. Bomb still held out here in ladder room.
A little bit of a strange buy from CTs. You don't see 2 nades bought often on the CT side, and it's kind of not really worked for them all that well. Trials, however, has managed to drop the bomb in mid. Astro caught with his back turned. Goggles here. Now that's another name change. Who on earth is Goggles? Goggles has managed to he's managed to take care of Trials, but he's in a 1v2. He's in a duel with Mr. Hoy at jungle, and Mr. Hoy comes out in front. So that is the pistol round for Enclave, which is just the start that they needed.
And Mr. Hoy at 2k in that one, managing to put a little bit of a statement out to Stifmeister, at least to start off the map. So we'll see whether they can keep it going for the next couple of ones. Of course, we did see I believe we did see Stifmeister steal around away from Enclave in that first map, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they won the force by the second round. They bought into it, but well, we'll see if they can pull that off again. Whisk playing at the bottom and connected behind the smoke. Shiki aggresses onto Dances into that chair position at mid. Whisk bursts through the smoke,
Okay,
but they're
that
ready
came
for
out
it.
of nowhere.
Out of absolute nowhere, and he gets punished for it. So 4v4, Stifmeister have managed to thin the numbers a little bit, so they've got something to work with. They've got some forward information, have Enclave onto the A ramp, which allows them to play those 2 players closer to B, but they're looking like they're going to identify the gap in the setup by boosting one into window, where Shane's going to check it. No. Instead, underpass. They're starting to change up their approach, but are they going to walk into exactly where Enclave have their players?
Maybe so. A bit of aggression coming in from the CTs. I'm going to push all the way through the apps, but they will still hold this little area just outside of apps. Maybe could walk into the crossfire here, Stifmeister. They've got 40 seconds left. They have to try and think about committing, and they have got the bomb on its way through the apartments. Mr. Hoy is pushed out eventually. They're going to deal with Shiki still here. 16 HP. Mr. Hoy is going to get tagged up by Astro and one other player. They've actually managed to sneak past him. This is huge for Shiki. He's going to wait and try and see if he can deny the bomb plant alongside Trainer. He gets the first. Shiki shuts him down. Back to the man advantage of Enclave, and they will steamroll over this one for the T side. Almost. Astro's still here. He gets himself one. Shiki's low, so this actually could turn to a 1 versus 1. And indeed it does, but it's 10 seconds left, and he has no idea where Trials is going to plant it for sure. Good call, unless Trials can manage to stop it out here from the window, and indeed he does, to just about barely bring Enclave to 2.
Yeah, I had to play a bit of a game of rock, paper, scissors there in that 1v1. Had to just plant the bomb and guess where Trial, well, he had no idea. He had to really just get that bomb down, otherwise he was going to run out of time. Doesn't guess correctly, and Trials manages to find him planting the bomb. And they get the freebie now. Glocks only from Stifmeister, and should be a formality here for Whisk, who's getting aggressive with those SMGs alongside Trials to try and accumulate some money. They're all A ramps, about to go down. Ooh. The flash comes in, only gets 1 though.
Just the SMG is trying to do their damage right here for Enclave. Whisk getting a little bit aggressive and actually paying for it, but it doesn't matter because the cross is locked. The rifles are here to back it all up, and Shaney will connect himself 3 relatively easy kills against some armorless players. Stifmeister only that 1 frag against Whisk, who's going to reinvest into the M4 Kevlar helmet anyway. Well, not the helmet in this case, of course the AK's out for Stifmeister. Save a little bit extra money, get some extra utility out to play with. But yeah, the 4 M4s and this MP9 still on Trials. Meanwhile, Stifmeister have themselves the 4x with limited utility, but the 5 AKs are here to work with.
That's it, Trials still got the MP9. Whisk will be kicking himself there. He got the flash in. There was 5 eco frags to be had, but he only got 1. Oh, that's a real stats pattern he's missed out. Let's see what they're going to do with this MP9. Do they try hide it? Do they try play it out to try and get some early information? Let's see what they'll do. They're going to try to do this slower mid-take, and Astro finds Whisk isolated in underpass. Whisk gets the dink in with the M4, but Astro lives and completes the spray down.
Did she
Let's
just
go.
spray it onto
bit
his
of wall
teammate?
hacks there? No, it was it?
Yeah, it was his
Oops.
teammate right there. Yeah, he was doing some damage to I think that's Mr. Hui there in the apartments area. I'm not sure why he sprayed through. I'm pretty sure he would have known that he's there. Maybe the fatigue is starting to set in on these players in the same way it's starting to set onto us. But yeah, 2 versus 4. Stifmeister will be able to gain control of these misplays and gain control of whatever Enclave are not throwing at them. 60 seconds left on the clock now, and the bomb will make his way into the A site. Only covered off by Trials at close range here at the ticket booth. And Lazar will get taken out by Mr. Hui at the very least, so back to a man advantage, a single man advantage for Stifmeister, but they have control of a counteracted by that Incendiary, which almost took Astro down, but he'll get the bomb plant here, safe for Connector and Sandwich. Trials won't spawn him out. So as a result, the retake will be on here for the Enclave boys. Eventually, Trials does pick up that kill, $600 for him. And a 2 versus 2 situation for Enclave on the retake. Fry held back here towards mid in Connector, looking up the peak up, spots the head of the first, and sprays down Mr. Hoyt. It's all Trials, last man left, looking for the 4K, and Fry will land it to bring the first on the board for Stifmeister.
Yeah, look, they're on the board, and they seem to have done some damage to the Enclave economy, who are probably going to have to eco. A bit of a more methodical approach here than Stifmeister tried on Cobble. They were sort of took a fairly aggressive approach to the whole of Cobble, coming up B long and A fast, but they're a little bit more systematic there. Shaney opening up the 5th round with a AWP pick onto Dances. Which is exactly what they need, considering they are a little bit light on utility and equipment. And it will be interesting to see how Stifmeister can consolidate back into this round. Their players are quite spread out. Catmeat finds Shiki's noggin, and that's one way back into the round. Back even up at 4-4.
Yeah, nice start so far. Just a 1-for-1 trade. The default's working out the way that they would have wanted it to. Enclave getting that trade back, but it will be Love to take the man advantage until Shaney goes ahead and does that and takes him right back out from Palace, shutting him down. Meanwhile, Fry actually does aggress and take the AWP out of action, suppressing the CTC on the A site. Eventually, it will be linked to pick off Whisk and completely shut down any presence that the CT's had on A site entirely. It's Mr. Hoyt, 1 versus 3 with the M4, backing up into the B site. Maybe if he took down a bomb planter, that would be great, but right now, his chances are very, very slim to try and make this retake work. No defuse kit, just the Kevlar and the flashbang. So not much in the utility sense. The M4 probably just best to be saved right here as Enclave look to concede a second to the Stifmeister side.
Yeah, look, pretty much every engagement that we saw in that round there was a 1v1, wasn't it? So you've got to be questioning if you're Shiki and your Enclave here, are your CT setups really achieving the desired result if every single engagement is a 1v1? They're not doing anything to try and manipulate, getting some numbers advantages when the fights actually come in. Mr. Hoy opting to save here.
Yeah, as we were saying, probably makes the most amount of sense at this point. Just leave it be. The second round will be on the wall for Stifmeister, which does put Enclave in a bit of an awkward situation. Not a whole lot of money here. So they could opt to force around this M4, but you know, even then, it's going to be quite a weak force right there. Link deciding to go up with the bomb. I guess guess that's the true nature of the terrorist side, you know, just
committed to the cause.
committed to the cause, but yeah, Enclave may have to decide whether they're committed to this round, really. Again, you know, lots of options to try and force play around here, but there's not a whole lot that they can get out if they wanted to go for the fully fledged force here. They're just going to go with the P250 instead for Shaney, so they're going to decide to back out of this one. Maybe see if Mr. Hui can take this M4 into the next round, but leave them a little bit of investment. But for now, it will be the first frag coming in for Lazar, and Trials getting that USP shot onto Link as well. Eventually, Fry rotates in on the flank, but an early great start from the CETs is punished to a 2 versus 3 for the favour of Stifmeister. Make it 2 versus 2 as this M4 from Shiki is still able to do damage, eventually traded by Dancy, who connects it on towards Trials, finishing off the job here for Stifmeister. 3-3 now that you're not the scoreline.
I think if you had offered them 3 frags with the USPs that round, they would have accepted that. So pretty handy work there from Trials. I'm not sure they knew exactly where he was. That silence USP working in his favour, as he was able to work around that top wood position. and pick off 2 as they came outside of the A ramp.
Yeah, M4s and AKs and 4s for both sides in this next round here. Already, it will be Link peeking up from the ramp, getting tagged with 49 HP just off the basis of 2 nades. Great utility usage early on from the CTs just to push Stifmeister back away from the early push in towards the A site. Might not fend off Lazar so easily. They may have to take that frag, and Trials will just about see the gun barrel before Lazar will fall back away here. 1 minute and 20 still left to go. Still lots of time for Stifmeister to make this default work. They haven't found a frag, so they have to think about the current setup and the bomb, and most of the players will make their way in towards the mid control that has been established. Shaney revealing his hand for a couple of seconds and gets tagged up to 14 HP for it, so Stifmeister taking little bit per little bit away, and this could end up in the frag. Indeed it does. Grenade down. Dancer gets the first one here for Stifmeister, bringing it a 5-on-4 to their favour, and it looks like they've committed to this B split.
Yeah, well, they've smoked off top connector, thrown that Carrigan smoke, as some people call it, and that's going to potentially allow them passage up through short as they work up as a pack of 3. Of course, they got goggles in the V-apps to help work with them, and the frags come in, and that should be the site unlocked as the rotations come in. It looks like they're going to test the temperature of the water, but Astro says no, too hot, no retake for you. He's also going to find Trials, so no saved weapons for Enclave that round. And it looks like Stifmeister are playing quite a spread out default at the start of the round. Perhaps a little bit susceptible to aggression if Enclave were to group up and choose to push one part of the map with 2 or 3 early. They might be able to find an isolated terrorist. But so far, I don't know if Enclave have lost a little bit of their confidence, a little bit of their mojo from the earlier games and earlier best of 3s that they've played today, because they don't seem to be all that willing to make those plays.
Stifmeister for now, however, won't have to worry too much about aggression from the CT, so they're going to group up, go straight in towards mid, shut down as many of the CTs here in connector as they can. Shaney does get 1 more frag, so it's down to 3 players, but in the end, the last remaining Enclave player of Shiki can't do anything here from short as he does go falling. It's a 5-3 scoreline to the favour of Stifmeister, and Enclave do have the money to buy it back here. They're going to go double AWP for this one. Max loss bonus. Shiki and Shaney, this duo from the old Vex Gaming roster before it collapsed. Expecting much to do with this? I didn't see much AWP play from Enclave in that last map, so I don't really know what to expect, to be honest. Yeah,
well, it's Shaney's renowned as being fairly handy with the AWP. Shiki is the secondary AWP option. Is interesting considering they've got Whisk there as well. Lusny powers up connector and somehow finds 2 frags before Trials can shut him down. Yeah, so that's reduced things into a 3v3, taken one of the AWPs out of Enclave's hand. It's only Shiki remaining with his. Dancy's got one of his own as well, and Astro's managed to work his way out of a B plat smoke that he's thrown himself. Mr. Hoy catches Astro with a nade in his hand, and that settles down the aggression a little bit, and the bomb is going to have to reunite with Dancy's if they're going to have any chance of winning this round. Shiki is moving his AWP back over to B apps, but the bomb is actually making its way through window and through jungle, and they seem to be like rats finding their way through holes which they're not intending to leave open, and Shiki gets out-peaked by Dancy's. Lightning fast there from Dancy's, and they've somehow managed to work themselves back into this round.
2 versus 2 situation now. Stifmeister getting the bomb plant, and it's a very clean kills coming in from Lazar and Dancy. 2 frags for Lazar, of course, taking the brunt of the offensive right now. The flashbang from Link will continue the job, taking on Mr. Hoyt, leaving it up to Trails as the last man left here for the CTs. A 3k clutch if he wants to make it work, and he's got himself no defuse kit, so got to work quick, and this cross is just way too open. Dancy going to pick up the frag. Almost takes his own teammate out. I was wondering if he was going to fly before time, but yep, 6 rounds on the board for Stifmeister and Enclave. Once again, only those 3 rounds in the pistol and conversions, and nothing more against the T side.
Yeah, look, the aggression there from Lazar into connector was a complete change of pace to how they've been playing the first couple of buy rounds. It just shows the quality of the players on Stifmeister, that they can play these different styles and switch between them, and it makes it really, really difficult for a counter-terrorist team to figure out what's going to come. Interesting buy, don't know whether it's deliberate, buys the SG, doesn't even use the scope on the SG, then pulls it out to try to spam towards top connector. Shiki going down early there to Astro, but Shaney's still waiting to see if he can snap one up in connector if they're not perhaps expecting him, but it gets cleared and Shaney goes down. And they're going to work their way onto the A side. They've got yet another corner to check, another CZ waiting around. It's Whisk this time. He gets one. He gets traded immediately. Trials working from underbelt. Gets one. He gets traded immediately. And that is now a 2v1. A decent result from Enclave. An outside chance from Mr. Hui. He's going to have a pretty impressive clutch against his old team. Laza seems aware of where he is and takes him down. And that's the round. That's number 7 for Stifmeister. It's starting to get away from Enclave now.
We're running out of rounds in this half to try and make work here, so gotta start to think about changing up the playbook. The Shaney Shiki double up setup only got them so far in that last rifle round, but can they make it work this time around? They're going to put one AWP on A and one AWP towards mid. Shiki going to look for the first face and lands it directly, actually. Taking out Link to kick things off here for the Enclave side, and actually Shaney gets the second AWP getting played. Down on Dancy, a 3 versus 5. So Enclave doing a decent job actually holding off Stifmeister, getting information out as well. So yeah, they're pretty decently prepped for what this T-side are going to throw at them. And they've already got the 2-man advantage. This mid push and this mid control is going to be quite difficult here for the T-side.
It's essential now that Enclave follow up this and try to close out the round without losing too many players so they can start to consolidate their economy. Ooh. That's not the way to do it. Shaney comes bouncing through the smoke, and Astro quickly gets 2 frags with his SG. And Catmeat follows up with one of his own, and all of a sudden it's all come undone. Lusny, lurking out of B-Apps, manages to take down Mr. Hoy, and it has all fallen in a heap for Enclave when it just looked like they were starting to put something together, starting to build into the round and build some economy with a convincing round win. All of a sudden things have fallen apart. Astro completes the triple frag with the SG. He's becoming the Magisk boy of the team using that gun. You don't see it all that often, but he's put it into good effect so far, and Enclave are finding themselves into an all too familiar position of having no money.
8-3, nothing for Enclave. At the very least, they have got max loss bonus, so they will have money. They will have a full buy in the next round. So options are available for these boys right here. The SG is on Astro and on Link. So yeah, just a bit of a default start here from Enclave, trying to see if they can find anything against Stifmeister, but, you know, even if they do find it, I have no reason to doubt the fact that Stifmeister will just find a frag on some stupid mistake from Enclave and just roll it onto 3 more, you know, like, they've done it so many times in the past couple of rounds that it just feels like an inevitability here for the CT side. Indeed, they will just crumble at seams when faced up with these rifles. Done some damage to some players, but a 1 versus 5 for Mr. Hui is just never going to be winnable, as they do crumble to pieces. All 5 players staying alive for Stifmeister, Enclave. 1 more buyback here, but something has got to change here, otherwise it's going to be a far gone scoreline again.
Yeah, it's becoming a little bit too easy now for the Stifmeister boys. Astro is so confident that he's starting to use that SG like it's an AK. He's not even using the scope, he's running around. It's starting to become a little bit silly now, so Enclave are going to have to turn things around now, or they are going to be out of the tournament. It's that simple. And that's a good start from Whisk, who finds one into Connector. Catmeat probably getting a little bit too keen running through the smoke without any assistance from a flash. And his teammate on Catwalk wasn't able to trade. So they are up in this round, but they were up the last time they had 2 AWPs and it fell apart. So the trick is converting it into a much needed round win. Shiki's moved one of those AWPs over towards the back of B site. Can he catch one at short? He does. There goes Astro. There goes one of the SGs. And there are 4 AWPs left on the map. 2 of them in the hands of Stifmeister. They all have a scope. They all have a scope.
Yeah, I was going to say, a bit of a common trend here from the T side, but a double AWP setup is not something you see very often on the T side. I'm intrigued to see why Stifmeister are going for this, to be honest.
I'm not sure what they're going with. I'm not sure if perhaps it's a little bit of cockiness coming up from Stifmeister, seeing the SGs and the double AWPs, or whether it's just a case of they're recognising they've got 2 of the UK's best AWPers in Lazar and Dancy's on the same team, so why not let them both have a crack at it? They've probably got enough money that if it doesn't work, they'll just buy again.
We're about to find out whether that will truly be the case here. 30 seconds do remain on the clock as Stifmeister look to try and push into the B-sided Shiki to get the first man down with the AWP. Picks him right off. Link going to try peek in. Does trade him back out, but he's the lone man standing. And while he will turn a second onto Mr. Hui, Whisk will be the man to train him right back out in Enclave. finally
About
gets
time.
a 4th round after 9 consecutive from the Stifmeister side.
Yeah, look, importantly, they managed to recover the second AWP as well off Shiki's body, so at least they can reuse that double AWP. Some more interesting weaponry coming out from Stifmeister. We've got an AWP, a P90 on Astro, and 2 SGs. What am I watching? Have we tuned in to Valve matchmaking service?
Yeah, isn't that basically the UK scene, though?
Well, no comments.
4v4, make it 3 as Lazar picks up Shiki, but CD's holding a bit of a fight. Never mind. Simple, crisp, clean locks coming in from Link. Maybe it is matchmaking, but 2 versus 2 from Shaney as he picks off one more, covering off the bomb right here. They've got to cross straight into his AW peak path. And Whisk is also covered. He's trying to set himself up from short, so he's got to make it relatively quickly. And actually, the shoulder peak baits out Shaney. The bomb is picked up by Dancy. It's planted for default now. And both of the T-side players will hold, set up the after plant. Get ready for the peaks coming in from this CT. So going to wait for the smoke to get cleared. They've got the fuse kits on both of these players as they make their way in. The AWP not advisable for this one, but it will be advisable for Lazar as he landed directly on Whisk with Dance to get in the last on Shane. That's 10 rounds on the board for Stifmeister. A reset against Enclave and a knife for Lazar for good luck.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Do you see? Cheney was holding a very tight line. He saw the AWP down on the bomb down on the floor and was trying to hold a tight line to prevent the Lazar from picking up that bomb. But I think Lazar poked out and picked it up with his toes. I think he didn't show very much of his body. He managed to pick up the bomb. Such as these game mechanics. They've got the 4 SGs. Catmeet Frederick refusing to participate in the SG party. Astro just pops out easy as that onto Trials. And Enclave are starting to look like they might be ready for bed.
I think we're all looking like we're ready for bed. I'm not going to lie right here. 11-4 looks to be the end of scoreline. Astro making 100% certain of that by taking out Mr. Hui. And yeah, 11-4. End of the half right there. Kill command. Was that a kill command or did Dancy just burn his own Molotov? I can't quite tell, to be honest.
Not sure. Not sure. Look, Shiki said before the game in chat that he's had 4 Red Bulls. I think he might need a 5th because they need something. Otherwise, they're going to be out of the tournament. This is the second map. Stifmeister, of course, won convincingly on Cobble already.
So, double flash. Smoke out for Shiki. That is the utility setup for Enclave. First flash out towards mid. Actually catches not all 4, but 3 of the players off guard here from Stifmeister. And they've all gone around each other. Aggression from the CT side just because they can. They're probably going to make this retake work as well, which is the funny part about it. The bomb will get planted by Enclave. Shaney's gotten right past into the CT line. Lazar will take down one. Trials will get traded right back on to Astro. 4 versus 4 situation, and Trials got this one on lock. He will take down, or try to take down the first man. Does land the headshot on to Catmeet, and Link will trade. Dance is going to trade, but Dancey also falls, so it's all down to Link as the last man. Well out of position, well out of HP, and well out of chances. It'll be a 5th for Enclave as they just keep going here on the T side.
Yeah, look, Stifmeister have been experimental with their weapon choices this game, to say the least. But perhaps got a little bit too experimental there with a 5-man mid-push on CT. I'm not sure that is out of the conventional CSGO coaching manual. But let's see what they're doing here. Again, close-up A-round with their pistols. Laz's about to get caught out by Trials. Indeed, he does. The headshot comes in. Scout from Dancy's in from jungle. While Astro finds one. Dancy's pops off Mr. Hoy's head, his former teammate's head, rolling around on the floor as the man advantage goes to the CT side. Cheney aggresses CT, which allows Whisk to plant on the far side of triple, giving himself an effective afterplant, even though it is a 3v3. Scout, CZ, and a Deagle, not ideal retake weapons.
Starting to push up, Stifmeister. Trying to get the retake together. Astro picks up a rifle to the door, but still puts the CZ into effect against Whisk. And now Shiki's the last man left here. Well out of position. Going to stick this defuse and actually will pull it off for a couple of seconds. There's no defuse kit either. Actually, this could be quite a close one. I think they might have enough time for this one. Astro. Yeah, it looks like he's got this one, it seems to be. So Stifmeister with a 12th round on their CT board. If Shiki had held back for a couple more seconds. If he tried stalled for a little bit more time, then maybe this would have been a very different story. This would have been a 6th round for Enclave, but he was well out of position anyway. The bomb wasn't planted for him. It would have been a very difficult round for the lone T-side player to win.
Yeah, look, Enclave got themselves into a winning position here, but Stifmeister confidence absolutely overflowing from the confidence container, and pretty much anything that they can that they want to do, they can pull off at the moment. So they have a Nova on Catmeat.
Because why not?
Because why not?
Yep.
All looks a little bit too easy for them at the minute, as they're just facing absolutely everything, winning absolutely every angel, and making the game look a lot easier than it is for poor Enclave, who have had a good run up until now, but it's looking more and more likely that this will be the end of their tournament. Shiki misses the shots into the back of Goggles and gets 180 tapped in the face, just to make things a little bit worse than they already were.
Very nice 180, actually, got to admit. Yeah, as you were saying, things are looking kind of sour for Enclave.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. 13 to 5. I do hope CL chat filters is off.
Counter strike.
I'm shaking his head at me like, yep, they are definitely on. That's been broadcast on Front Page UK Twitch.
Will the UK ever be safe?
No. Just straight up no.
Well, their CS might not be that great at the minute, but at least they are entertaining, perhaps in not the most politically correct way. Dear me. If you're Enclave, what more can you do?
I mean, they've got the opening pick, you know, Astro's dead. So
maybe that's the secret. Silly binds, silly Saybines, perhaps, is their way back into this game, because look, their Counter-Strike isn't doing it for them, is it?
No, not right now, right here. But 50 seconds left to try and make something of this man advantage. Shiki will get tagged on 15 HP, however. And Lazar will get that one frag, but he's traded it alongside Link back to a 2 versus 4. Catmeat's rotating slow. And Dancy is here towards Connector, trying to find anything that he can, but held off by the smoke and the flashbang. We'll take one before he's traded to down in the Nova. Are we going to get an overkill? Right here, point blank against Whisk. No, 7 HP. Whisk takes him down.
How does the Nova not kill him at that
I
range?
do
I think that was
not
faulty.
know.
Yeah, send that one back to the factory. That was a defect on that Nova. Whisk manages to just turn around and bop him in the head.
Oh, come on, Stifmeister. What is this?
Oh, my wordly Worthington.
What is
3
this?
AWPs, a scout, an M4, and no utility. It feels like we're watching the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Generals at the minute. And Stifmeister are spinning the ball on their fingers, dribbling it through their legs. And Enclave have absolutely no answers. They're starting to look a little bit silly at the minute. But you never know. Could Enclave actually get themselves back into the game, punish some of this silliness from Stifmeister, maybe get an AWP of their own for free and start a little bit of a run? And maybe that's the case, as all of a sudden they're 5v3 up. And it's hard to win a 3v5 when you have 2 AWPs and a scout. But is it for Stifmeister? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
No. I mean, to be fair, I don't think 4 snipers is it's in meta, right? I don't believe that this is a standard tactic.
Maybe
right,
they're ahead of the meta.
Ooh.
They could be that this could be the new way, saving until you can afford 4 AWPs.
Yeah, wow. Stifmeister with the next gen strats. This is why they're in Mountain Dew League and Enclave are not.
You can't just play traditional Counter-Strike if you want to get to the next level. You have to have everything prepared. I'm sure they've practiced this many times, the 4 AWP setups.
Perhaps they have, but Scout from Dancy will not be able to work out in this case. Tries to get the first frag, the grenade should finish him off, and indeed it does. Shaney turns things to a 2 versus 5. So Stifmeister may have practiced this, may have had it down pat, but unfortunately Enclave were expecting it. 3 kills for Shaney. This should be a 7th on the board for the D side. And Stifmeister will have to save this double up setup into the next round.
Yeah, look, from a confidence perspective, this can't be great for Enclave to see the other team essentially doing silly stuff against them, buying SGs and multiple AWPs and Novas and that sort of stuff. So from their perspective, they'll at least want to make Stifmeister play some more traditional proper CS, at least show them a little bit more respect. And at least they've done that a little bit. They've put a couple more rounds on the board. And I wonder how many more silly buys we'll see from Stifmeister before they decide, right, let's end this before we find ourselves on a third map. And sometimes when you're playing this sort of silly Counter-Strike, it can be hard to hit the switch to toggle back to playing sensibly. But we'll see how it goes. 2 AWPs again from Stifmeister. Those were saved, of course, from the last round.
Shane doesn't know how he planted the bomb. He was on 43 HP and he was in ladder room. Like, you know. Come on, dude. Do the maths. Here we go. Enclave going to do the strats as they make their way quickly into the A site. Mostly uncontested, except for one man here on the site. Make it 2 down. 5-on-3 does ensue. Astro and Co trying to rotate. Good flick from Astro in the AWP as Dancy gets one more with a P250. Admittedly, he's taken down all the same. The Fright and Astro. The 3 versus 2 situation. Favourable to Enclave, of course. AK in the hands of one, AWP in the hands of the other. Up for the retake. They're just going to decide to back off and save these 2 rifles into the next one. And Stifmeister are starting to give a little bit of ground back to Enclave. So, the comeback is potentially on. They're past the 8-round marker, so
halfway there, halfway home. Yeah, look, they're managing to save some guns here, Stifmeister. They got to be careful not to fall into this awkward pattern where they decide they want to play seriously now, but they have 2 saved weapons, and then they can get into a weird pattern where they keep forcing around those weapons. At least I think they got the money to do that here, so they should be able to avoid falling into that trap. But, you know, it's not long before you know it that the scores will be back level again and the pressure will be back on. I hope there's an AWP on the ground for Lazar. Lazar taking the AWP this round over Dancy's. Does he have a spawn for it? No. Where's he taking the AWP? Who knows? The aggression is coming out mid, so whilst they've got a more sensible buy, they're still very, very in your face. And Shaney is going to get taken down by Goggles at mid. And the reaction from Enclave is to port out of A ramp. Damager. Dancy's gets the first kill though onto Whisk, and there's only 3 men remaining. Some more frags come in from Dancy's onto Trials, and it's all starting to fall apart.
Astro looking to line them up, and he will be able to do so. 14 rounds now on the board for Stifmeister as they look to try and take this one away from Enclave. Finally, right here for the CT side. The 2 AKs going out from Trials and Mr. Hui. The AWP is in the mix right there as they get their final solid buy here. Enclave from here. It's got to be victories, else they will be forced down to a forced buy for what probably would be the last round of the match here for this T side. So, mid control, challenged up by aggression from Stifmeister as they go in. We've got Fry beacon up, taking out Trials just before he gets flashed off. The grenade should do a little bit of damage. Doesn't actually catch him at all, but Shiki will be able to win the 1v1 duel. With Shane taking up to 15 HP, however. I think that Enclave did come out the worst for wear here against Stifmeister.
Well, look, a 4v4 allows you to manipulate the round a little bit, but not if you just go out of Palace dry and lose your life to Dancy's, who's holding from CT. So all of a sudden, they are down back in the doldrums, and it looks like Stifmeister have decided they want to play Big Boy CS again, and they're making quick work of it. But before I can even finish that sentence, picks come out across the board for Enclave, and they have a 2v1. They both have next to no HP, but Lazar, who is the clutcher in this storyline, this fairy tale, has an AWP, so the HP doesn't matter all that much for Shaney and Mr. Hoy. And Lazar decides to make it easy for Shaney by jumping through a smoke.
Yep. We're trying to deny the bomb plant, but
nothing doing.
Yeah, not going to happen in this particular case. Stifmeister. That does mean they're actually reset, so Enclave are now back on the comeback potential. They're now within 5 of this 14-round lead that Stifmeister have above the Enclave side. They're onto the quasi-bite. Nice shot from Shaney. Very hard to hit that when you're only peeking on heads, so Dancy down, 5-on-4. T-side making their way quickly into the B-bomb site as well. We have got Link peeking up here from short, takes the first 1D, looks for the second man, can't quite line it up, so it's all up to Shiki to finish the job. Mr. Hoy gets one more frag on Fry as well. Lazar low, Lazar dead, and Astro is the last man remaining here for the CT side. Just pistols.
Yes.
Not too surprised.
No, Whisk decidedly unimpressed with the Diggle shot That's Link hit on him there. Is Link goggles? I'm lost on these
Yeah, Link is
names.
goggles.
Yeah. But look, this is good news from Enclave. They've at least drawn the eco out of Stifmeister. They've forced them to respect them again. And look, they've given themselves an outside chance. Once this bomb explodes, they're going to be on 10 into double digits. They're probably only, if they want to bring this towards match point for themselves, only really need to win 2, maybe 3 genuine buy rounds left. So it's starting to get a little bit claustrophobic for Stifmeister. Can Enclave bring this to the 3rd map? They'd be pretty upset with themselves if they let that happen with Stifmeister.
Yeah, and I mean, we're past this midnight point. We've already seen some of the players. We've already seen some of the players, quite suffering to the hands of fatigue. So we're about to find out whether or not they can go the distance, especially if Enclave do want this series to go to map 3. Personally, B-Magic, I don't really want to go to map 3. I want to end this so I can go to bed. But Shaney has other plans as he takes down Fry to kick off this next round. Almost, actually, sorry, he did land a second on Loza. He shots this down to 5 on 3. Not a single point of damage to the Enclave boys, as Stifmeister are forced back to saving these 3 M4s. This looks like it's an 11th for Enclave. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
The more CS, the better, Jay. I won't have any
I
of this
beg
nonsense.
to differ at this point in time.
And it may be, at the minute, the way Stifmeister have been mucking around with these guns, quantity over quality. And they are struggling. I don't know if I can. I probably can after midnight. They are struggling to pull the finger out at the minute to close out this game. They're going to have 3 saved M4s and a decision to make as to what they do with the other 2 players, given that the scoreline is starting to close in and no one has enough money to drop a rifle. They're all under that $3,100 price tag of the M4. And it looks like they're not spending too much money. It's an awkward middle buy where next round they're not really going to be able to buy either. So maybe a bit of mental fatigue here from Stifmeister, starting to make some weird decisions as they try to close out this second map of the BO3. Shaney, along with Whisk, working dry out of a ramp, exploding, and they're going to find Luzza under balcony, but Luzza getting 1 frag of his own, as is Dancy's getting 2, and all of a sudden, match point for Stifmeister.
Yeah, very quickly off the back of that one. Actually, the frag went to their favour, and Enclave do have to force this to overtime before we get to that 3rd map, so at least there is a little bit of a buffer. Although I'll admit, if Enclave do take this to overtime and take it to map 3, I'm going to be extra pissed, both in alcohol and in food. But the AWPs will be out for both sides. Can Stifmeister close this one out? Can they finally end this series 2-0 and progress to the lower finals? Which, actually, now that I think about it, they may still be doing tonight. I still don't know. Harvey, can you confirm? No. We're not. Okay, so this is the last match. Okay, that does bring me at least a little bit of an opportunity, at least a bit of a saving grace right now. This is a 4 versus 3 situation. Stifmeister have the man advantage. They are on the edge of this one, looking to take this whole series over. 2 frags to get their Shiki and Whisk. The last 2 left standing for Enclave. Whisk will still peek up and pick off Astro. And a minute left to go here for this T side to try and recover the whole situation. Bomb drop, but they have only a morsel amount of control here of the A side. Stifmeister are just holding it back and waiting for them to peek up to them and waiting for the frags to present themselves to the CT side.
They're on the brink of the lower bracket final, which would be against Fish 123. Do we just say that was at 8:30 AM tomorrow morning? Is that a reward? Do you want that? Do you want is that a prize to get up at 8:30 tomorrow morning? We should probably cover the last frag of the game here, as Dancy's gets a 2K onto Shiki and Whisk to close out the best of 3. 2-0